real intent was interiors, which are expressed by these two corners. This is more a straight still life, which I couldn't help putting in because I had things that just worked like that. So there you are. I do not consider that so much an interior because you're not, or I'm not thinking about the surround as much as the subject itself. And so it gets into the category of still life. But there's a little, an interface between these two always. The two in the corner are interiors, which then have, of course, still life components that are piled in a theme. The theme becomes much more the subject matter, whereas in the straightforward still life, the theme, you could all say this without my even saying this, but basically it's relationships, color relationships, flow, whatever, and that is the underlying denominator of that one. The other two are, hats and gloves, and I can't think what else, squashes, autumnal, food, maybe a corner in a market, however you want to interpret it. And over here, I stuck up the Marston Hartley wonderful painting, which I believe is at the Phillips, is it not? I tucked it under the hat as a little motif. If you are doing one of the still lifes, think of the interiors. Think about the interior parts that are just about as important as whether there's corn or a squash or whatever, which are the shadows. You could do nothing except that hat. Nothing except the shadows of the chair. Not so much as an architectural thing, but just as a, I said to some people who were here earlier, love the wall, embrace the wall. In a way, it's more demanding to embrace a wall than it is to embrace very lovely color harmonies. So I guess I put this out because I think it's good to do something harder, and which makes you sort of think in a different way. And sometimes the pain can come more easily because you're defining it. So that's that. If we need to move tables, please do. Then I brought that fennel, which didn't work with anything else. But it reminded me that my favorite painting to this day is something I did about 35 years ago, of just fennel. And it was such fun to do it once I got rid of thinking, how do you do all the feathery stuff? And I just did it, and it painted itself. I was also thinking about our trip, which some of you were not able to be on, though I know you were doing even more exciting things than we were. But I thought it was a wonderful selection of stuff that Denise Wammeling, who is, what's her title? I can't remember. Collections, I don't know. Anyway, very nice woman, as you could see. She put together great stuff. I sort of have said a couple of things because I knew from 10 years ago or 8 years ago. But it was great for me because it was tastes of what watercolor can be, and that's what this is about. And there was a Marin, for those Marin freaks. There was a totally photorealist Philip Michelson of the draped flags for the photorealist freaks. But seeing them up close and personal, Patricia Tobacco Forrester, the huge part of a diptych, which I was interested in, and I thank Denise for going to the trouble to get out some of these things. It's a lot of work to do what they do, Your tax dollar, think of it. Pay your taxes. Where is, here, Patricia Tobacco Forrester was a huge painting, and many of us know her work and even had seen her in the years past. But it's great to see that right up front, right in front of your nose, and how the paint is applied. A lot of this she kind of makes up or incorporates the surround of these things. It's fanciful in some ways. And maybe the most interesting of all was Karen. Morton Schamberg. You remember this? The little zinnia in a pot with a little pinkish.
That's why you picked this cloth, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
I thought about it. I thought about that painting.
see the little accent, you don't have to put it in, of the magnolia over there, which is like the zinnia. So, I mean, that sort of segues into, as Karen said, why is this Morton Schambert here? Hello. Well, for one, actually his work, he went on, he's a modernist. He was, I had thought it might be by Sheila, but it was not, it was Schambert. And that, it's like a little study. It's a very, very modest painting. It's full of things where you could say, what about this and what about that and what is he doing? It's nothing really, and there's a slanted table, and but it's there because of his stature in general. And I would have a hard time saying that it's more than, you know, I might walk right by that myself, and we might all walk that by. You may walk by it, maybe you didn't even notice it. And you know, nothing is engraved in steel or history about value and why something's good or not good. I mean, these are collective opinions and possibly whoever donated it, and so you don't have to say this is a great painting any more than you do about any of them. So those who didn't go, take a look at this. There was a beautiful Marin. Some of the things I thought were particularly interesting for technical stuff were and some of you got to see Carolyn Brady, and you hadn't maybe seen her before, though we've talked about her a lot. And thank you, Rosa, for your catalogs. The ones, the Cass Gilbert, the architect who did these buildings and these very luminescent skies. Those are things to just put in your head for how you create these layered watercolors, you know, with the rosy color under and then the layered cobalt, ultramarine, whatever, and how you build them up. So, I mean, in the technical thing, I think some of you may have been watching that. And it all pointed up his architecture, which of course he was very capable on. You know, I mean, like Birchfield, mark of the artist everywhere. You know, that's, you know, it's all these degrees. And it is absolutely, you're right, Margetta, that this is human. You're not fooled. You don't think, oh my God, is it really this scar and this? And it is. But, and I did that as an exercise just for myself, and I find something like that very focusing and contemplative, that I just get, you know, you think, what is this? Okay, I'm just going to do it. I mean, you abandon yourself to thinking, how am I going to make that particular orange? And you have, it's a lot of fun in terms of color choice.
Yeah, your colors are
so you
brighter.
And so have fun with it. If anyone wants to do this,
It has so much sheen to
lots
it.
of fun.
Yeah.
And you know, I know this sounds simplistic, but truly, you know, if you just say, okay, what am I seeing here? Well, I see a little shift here, and there's a tiny bit of dark up here as it goes up to that little crest, and just say, okay, I'm putting down exactly that change of thing. I'm not thinking, and it takes a while. Any of you who've ever done something of this sort, you will probably know and remember. For a while, it doesn't really look like anything until you get the cumulative thing of, you know, of this turn of the cloth or the shadow here. And once you add about 5 or 6 or have put this, all of a sudden the point comes out. You say, oh, you know, there's that, that shadow now is creating that. And so what the best thing about this to me is it's a reminder that what we're doing, no matter what kind of style one has, you know, how you paint, it is illusion. It is all illusion. You are putting your interpretation or your record on paper from 3 dimensions. So, and it's all illusion. It's really weird when you think about that. I mean, if you've drawn something sometimes and you think, okay, now when I add that one little thing, oh, now it looks as though the figure is really standing or sitting or something. And it was just that one thing that is information. This is such a vague statement that...
But we got it.
But this is a very exceptional group of people.